It appears that the tables have turned, as OxygenOS takes major design cues from iOS 18. OnePlus has lately been pivoting in a different direction when it comes to its software strategy, especially with its attempts to integrate deeper and provide a more seamless experience with Oppo's ColorOS. It has been focusing on bringing more custom features and no longer sticking to the original Android form that reflects a cleaner approach. The company seems to be taking cues from Apple's iOS and aiming to attract a wider approach by bringing similar elements to its upcoming OxygenOS update. OnePlus is drawing heavy inspiration from iOS in its next OxygenOS update based on Android 15. OnePlus is gearing up to release its latest version of OxygenOS and is making some significant changes this time that mirror many iOS features. OnePlus has, in the past, opted for clean software without bloatware, but that is no longer the case as it is shifting from one of its biggest selling points by bringing it closer to Oppo's ColorOS. It is borrowing features from iOS, taking design cues from the software, and going for a heavily customized user interface. As reported by SmartPre, in the upcoming OxygenOS 15 update, OnePlus is combining iOS and Xiaomi's HyperOS for the control center. The quick settings menu would now have an upgraded design with a 2x2 media player, 1x2 brightness slider, and 1x2 volume panel, and additional toggles would be available for some other options. Android previously used to offer a combined section for notifications and basic controls, but it mimics iOS's approach by keeping the two apart, bringing a separate section for Control Center, and keeping the notifications in the opposite direction. However, this is not the only iOS-inspired change. With the OxygenOS update, OnePlus is bringing many other noteworthy tweaks, such as changing how the volume slider operates or shifts as the volume is adjusted. Much like iOS, initially, the slider would be large but would be reduced to a smaller size as the volume is adjusted to be less intrusive. Additionally, the lock screen would be packed with more customization and tweak options similar to Apple's iOS, and users could make changes to backgrounds and many other elements. One feature that stands out the most is the dynamic island-like notification feature that would now be incorporated into OxygenOS 15. This feature would now be placed at the top of the screen, making it more interactive. Even the branding of the features seems to be heavily inspired, as the motion photos in the camera app are most likely now to be called Live Photo. We are not sure if more upgrades and changes will be incorporated that do not reflect Apple's iOS, but for now, the company is stepping away from its classic approach. OnePlus is expected to launch the OxygenOS 15 beta version based on Android 15 later this month, and more details will emerge then.